Import a data file into DapresyPro. When you want to import a data file to your DapresyPro project, you go to the import.sav SPSS page that you can find on the Start menu and on the Data menu. When on that page, you simply browse for your data file. And this data file that you want to import must follow some logical rules in order for DapresyPro to be able to import it. And these rules are not very complicated, and you can read about them in the document Data Format Guide to DapresyPro. And if you don't have this document, please ask your DapresyPro contact, and he or she will get it for you. If the file doesn't follow these rules, there are two ways of fixing that. You can either do it in the SPSS file itself, or you can use the metadata transformation here in DapresyPro. If you choose the second, you tick this box and you select New Transformation. This will now load the file, or the metadata in the file. So you will see all the questions, and you will see all the answers in the data file. You will see how many answers there are and what question type it is. The first rule in the document, that the file must follow, is that you must have a unique respondent ID, a response date, and a wait variable. But if the file doesn't contain these variables, you can create them here in this interface by right-clicking and select Create Respondent ID Variable. And the same thing for response date variable and wait variable. If there are any logical errors in the file, for example, duplicate answer alternatives, you will see an exclamation point here to the left, a red signal that shows you that on this question something is wrong, so please fix it. And everything can be fixed by right-clicking and using this menu. You can here search and replace variable names if you want to change them. You can copy answer values to empty labels. So for example, if you have a question with an answer alternative where the answer label is missing, you can use this to copy the code, so the code becomes the answer label. And you can do some other things here as well to get the file in the format that you want. When you're done, you save this mapping, and then you give it a name, for example, transformation 1, and save. And this means that you can use this transformation for later, when you want to import a second or a third file to your project. So if the file is in the original format, you just apply transformation 1, and it will automatically recode the file for you. One more important thing when you import the file is the multiple choice question separator. To be able to group multiple choice questions together into one, or variables together into one question in DapresyPro, you must have a unique separator in the variable name of the multiple choice variables. By default, this is an underscore, but you can select any character for this. The only rule is that this character cannot occur in any other variable that's not a multiple choice variable in the data file. And you can read more about this in the document that I mentioned before. Then, when you're done with this, you press the Upload button. And now the system starts reading the data that's in the file, both the metadata and the case data. And it will then show you a table containing all the variables that's in the file. And now, as you can see here, you have a multiple choice question, and this is built up by several variables in the file. You can select here if you would like to exclude some questions from the import, and otherwise you press Import. This screen shows you the unique answer lists from the data file, meaning the value label lists that are unique. DapresyPro works with answer blocks, meaning that all questions that share a value label list, they would have the same answer block, meaning that if you want to change a text or a color or something later, you only have to do that one time. And it says here, status modified answer block and a new answer block. This means that this answer block has a change from before, and that's not so strange in this case, because this is the first file that we're importing. If this was a second or a third file, for example, and it said modified answer block, you would know that there is a new answer in this answer block that has not been imported before. And you can see that by expanding this list. You can also see what question the answer block belongs to. Then you press confirm import, and now all the data is imported into DapresyPro. All metadata and the labels are filling DapresyPro project. And you can see here that the file is now imported successfully as version 1. Means that this is the first import that we've done. If I want to import a second file now, I browse for the file again, and then I can select import case data or import metadata and case data. And import case data means that you just import the data. The system will not look for any changes, any new questions or any new answers. If you know that there might be any additional questions or answers in the data file, then you select import metadata and case data. The next step after the import is to activate the data. You do that here next to the import button. And activating data means that this data file will be included in the reports that you create later. So what you do is that you tick this box and you press activate. You now see that this file is activated and what time it was activated. If I import a second file now, I have the choice to either activate them both, meaning that the report will contain data from both files, but I can also untick this box or this file and tick the next one. So this means that you can always append new data, but you can always replace data that's been imported. For example, if there is something wrong in an imported data file, or if you have changed something in it, you can always replace it.